Yo, welcome back to the Audio Theory Podcast. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like button as well as the subscribe button. What's good, Danny? How have you been?
I've been good, dude. Happy April 1st. No jokes will be told today. Well, some jokes, but no obvious April Fool's jokes. Bro, definitely went too hard for Easter. I'll say that.
Okay.
Definitely would wait. I had a shower right before this just to like truly feel like I'm alive today because your boy was struggling all weekend. I think I told Blair offline, so me and Gina did a half marathon like around our neighborhood, not like an official one with a medal and stuff, but we did 13.1 miles to start off the day yesterday for Easter Sunday. And then, bro, we had like a friend's 1-year-old's birthday party that ended up just being like but it was really for the adults, right? Because like a 1-year-old, like, you know,
Right,
how
can't
invested
do much. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, but there was a lot of alcohol there, like a lot of alcohol. So, bro, like I felt it, but I think because I was so dehydrated post race that I think like the alcohol has hit me in a very aggressive way. Not like me belligerent being drunk, as in like the hangover effect. Like, bro, struggle all day, bro. Like bad, but a phenomenal Easter nonetheless, bro. How was your Easter?
Easter was good. Honestly, ever since I was probably a teenager, never really did much, even with family. I think now more so the families. I'm not around, but the families doing like Easter egg hunts because like everyone has little kids.
Yep.
Like on my cousin and brother sides. But for us, we coincidentally had a long run that we scheduled. It was the first run of this length that I did outside.
Okay, so you've been training for the most part on a treadmill.
Yeah, pretty much exclusively treadmill, actually. Which hasn't been as bad as I thought, but again, you're just constantly staring at the damn time and like calories and all that shit. That's a distraction for me for sure.
Yeah, because dude, I've never. Again, maybe the weather's also better here the majority of the year, maybe compared for you. So maybe I'm, but dude, I would highly recommend going outside more, bro. Because I personally can. I only do the treadmill, bro, when it's like a quick little 20 minute, warm up, bro. To be on that bitch for like 4 or 5 miles, bro, I lose my mind.
Yeah, no, I fully agree, and this was actually a lot easier for me than the treadmill. So I like beat my pace. I didn't feel tired at all. Like even those 8 miles, I didn't. Even though I obviously should eat and hydrate, even if I'm not like about to pass out. It was the first time I didn't feel like I needed to, which was encouraging. And I was like, shit, I could keep going. So I'm not afraid of the half marathon at all.
Nice, man. Good for you, bro. That's a great feeling. Cause bro, the pace is always inaccurate on the fucking on the treadmill. And I know that because of the Apple Watch. Like the Apple Watch is telling me what's really happening. But then I look at the treadmill and it's like, oh, your pace is like 14 minutes per mile. I'm like, the fuck it is, bro. Like, what are you talking about? So like again, as you keep doing more and more mileage, you'll see that it'll get easier, bro. Like for example, Gina and I did the half marathon yesterday. We did it like in 2 hours and 40 minutes. We stopped 3 or 4 times for her to catch her breath. But bro, like I felt amazing. But I think it's because like once your body knows what to expect because you've already done it before, it gets easier, bro. So like again, if you're gonna run 13.1 miles, you should probably have already done 13.1 miles in a run within like 2 to 3 weeks of like the day. So if it's the beginning of May, maybe right before the wedding, you should probably already do like a dry run of that. So your body's already used to it. So like on the day of the race, there's nothing that's going to surprise you.
Yeah, for sure. But there was one moment during the race that like completely threw us off. So I was running with, it was my wife, my boy Moon, and this guy, Mike. We were all kind of running at different paces. But me and Moon were running a similar pace, and we ran from this dude Mike's house to the Google office, which is like right by this it's like by the bay, but there's like this creek as well.
Okay.
And on that creek there was like a billion fucking gnats for like a mile straight.
Oh bro, that's a thing. Yeah, when it gets more humid, that's a thing. Yeah.
And we were just we were getting tired because we're
you're
literally
just like
running like this, like swiping. And when I finished the race, or not race, but when I finished the training, and I got back to the house, I had like a bunch of dead flies all over my neck.
Yeah, that's a thing, bro. That's a thing. That's definitely a thing. That happened to me a couple of times. Dude, it gets humid as fuck in Florida. You know that. And I happened to wear that day like a neon tennis color shirt. Oh, bro, they were all over me when I got home. Like I had to take my shirt off at one point just to like survive because it was that's like a thing, dude. How were your like hips and joints after because that's like your longest run in forever, right? Like
So yesterday I literally didn't feel much soreness at all. Today I'm super sore. But I felt this way the last long run I did, and it only lasted for a day.
Okay.
Obviously I'm not going to jump right back into a long run until later this week, but for me it's pretty my recovery period is pretty quick, and I always hop in the jacuzzi, and that helps a lot with me.
That's nice.
Like the cold in and out with the pool too as well. So yeah.
Nice. Good for you, bro. And then what was I gonna ask you? So it's gonna be in May. So running wise though, are you gonna now strictly go to outside, or are you gonna do a balance of the treadmill and outside?
I'll probably do short runs on the treadmill still, because for me, like I don't think it's really necessary to like have to do 2 miles outside or anything like that.
Right.
But for the 8-7 like that, I have to. Otherwise, I'm just gonna stare at the
time. And you're gonna make it feel harder than it has to be, which is why, like you said, like your timing went down, like it did. Yeah, for sure. Because like what you think is happening on that treadmill is not really happening at all. Like it's just it's like a best guess kind of situation. How the wife do?
She did really well. I didn't see any of it because she started like 40 minutes earlier than us, because we were gonna do a time-based thing where like regardless of distance we all do an hour and a half or whatever, but she's like, no, I want to do 8-7 miles. So she did it. She falls in line within the 3-hour pace. I think she did, I forget, 13 maybe 12, but whatever it was, I think for the actual race she'll be fine, and she didn't see much.
On the actual race, just like there's adrenaline going, there's people around you, like bro, like you just end up going faster just because. What's wild though, bro, is like imagine if you were training for this, if you were still living in San Fran, bro, you wouldn't be. There's no way you would be doing like miles, bro. Like no, it wouldn't be safe at all. Dude.
No. Well, I mean, shit, it might be the best training because I'd be jumping over needles, piles of shit, homeless people. Yeah, that shit's like a Spartan race, basically.
Correct, dude. Like, yeah, like literally like running for your life, bro, because there's no way. Which is why I'm excited for the Brooklyn run, bro, because I feel like the views will be dope. And just like a different way to take in like the city that weekend. But cool, man. It's good. I'm excited for you. Anything else happen this weekend besides race day stuff?
This weekend, no. That was pretty much the focus and highlight for me, I'd say.
Nice. Good for you, bro. Yeah, I went to church, tried to be a good Christian, ran, worked out. Pretty simple. But yeah, definitely I realize as we get like around this age, 1-year-old, 2-year-old birthday party really is for like all the parents, and then all the parents' friends. Like we were one of like 4 couples there who also didn't have kids. So we were just like bro, just like knocking it back and like talking about the wedding and stuff. But yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time. Sweet. But happy Easter, everyone. Celebrating. Let's get into episode 173. Episode 172 is up everywhere. So bro, again, we kind of held off this topic for a couple weeks for obvious reasons, but now it feels like it's like a part of the national media conversation. So we might as well get into it. Diddy, his house was raided, I believe, Wednesday of last week or at some point last week. All his houses, security tapes were, captured. His kids are in handcuffs. Like it's a wild scene, right? So all this stuff of the controversy before, and the people alluding to what could be happening, it felt very different now when the feds are storming into multiple properties trying to seize his different assets. So your thoughts on how like we're getting this information right now about Diddy?
I mean, I'm shocked it's gotten to this level at this period, just because with the Cassie stuff, it seemed like that blew over pretty quickly. And it was like the most powerful, I guess, victim that we know of got what she wanted, or felt like was justice, and then we kind of move on. Thought, worst case scenario, Diddy just fades off into the distance and makes money quietly or whatever. But now that the feds are involved, I think everyone is aware that once they get involved, there's pretty much enough evidence to take action. So it kind of provides more proof to the allegations of him doing something shady behind the scenes, much of it seeming sexual in nature. And there's been rumors for so long. It's just crazy that it took the social media era, it seems, for all these powerful men in particular to finally be taken down in some way. But I think the conspiracy theories there's just so many. I don't even know what to believe. That's the problem in these cases. Like, on one hand, you have people who are like, oh, they're trying to take down a black man and use it as a distraction because Biden's a fucking lizard who's like blah blah or something, like, and then on the other hand, other people are like, oh, he's a booty bandit, and he's finally getting, we're finally getting justice, blah blah blah. So
it is wild, bro. And I remember, I think I probably said it on the pod before, but just to repeat this, because I remember my mom was dating a musician back in like the late 90s, bro. And I remember we were out, dude, I was like 9, or I think it says maybe a couple episodes ago, but I was like 9 or 10 years old. And I remember him vividly saying, because like something about Puffy came up like in the conversation between like the three of us. And then he was saying that there was rumors back then of him just being like a wild dude, like super bisexual. Everyone in the industry knew, which again, there's nothing wrong with that. But like there was just like a lot of like craziness to him that wasn't out officially, but people in the industry knew. And I feel like since the like late 90s, bro, that has only grown as far as like that movement, right? And it's wild to think that Cassie was like the camel that brought, like the straw that brought the camel's back, because bro, like that was like, it just felt like, all right, pay her, move on with your life, it's gonna be fine. And bro, this has been a spiral since then, which I don't think when we were talking about like situations of like how this is gonna play out, it never felt it was gonna get this crazy, or at least it never felt it was gonna get this crazy so fast, bro. Because I mean, dude, this feels like Epstein, but now we're just paying attention. So it really feels like Epstein, right? Because I feel like when Epstein stuff was happening, no one really knew what the fuck was going on until like he died, right? And then it's like, oh, this is what was happening. Whereas with this one, it's like, oh, bro, he is Epstein. Like this is just a black version of that, with more names that we know because it happens to be with hip hop culture. So it feels crazy. Like it just feels way realer than I've ever thought. And how quickly this dude, he ended the year last year with like his first album in years, getting accolades, his first like R&B hit in forever. It's like, oh, bro, Brother Love Records. And it's like, right. Shit can change very quickly, bro.
And it's crazy because I saw a video of him and Stevie J like chilling in Miami or something, smiling in some kitchen. I don't know whose home it was.
Like right now.
Like a week ago, and some white dude was holding the camera.
Yeah.
And I know there's a big conspiracy that the feds were really there to clean up, not to like indict him or send him off to prison. It was just to get rid of the evidence, because apparently every rapper and celebrity who's been in his home didn't know he was secretly recording them doing God knows what. So they were really there to just, I guess, throw all the fucking GoPros that were taped up on the wall away.
Do you believe that as one of the theories?
I feel like the rumors are always more interesting than what's probably
the facts.
True. Yeah, the facts. And I think just given everything like when there's a suspicious situation going on, you could tell someone anything and they'll just believe that the person's guilty. I just like from your gut that Diddy just comes across as like a sociopath, so I wouldn't be surprised. But in terms of the feds cleaning up his place, I find that hard to believe.
I find it hard to believe too. Yeah,
I don't think so.
Yeah, but I also, again, my thing is like, I do find the timing to be very convenient. Like, I do like that conspiracy as far as like the distraction piece of it, because it does feel very distraction-y, right? Like, it feels like it's getting all the press, which again, maybe rightly deserved as a black billionaire in America. Like, any billionaire's house gets raided, that's in pop culture, you would think it's going to be on every news outlet. But yeah, it's getting a lot of attention, bro. And at a time where, like, again, it's the elections, people trying to understand like Trump's like situation and his own finances. Like, it just feels like the timing like is very convenient. Like, all right, how can we distract half of the population? All right, Diddy, you're going down. You know what I mean? Like, it just feels, that part of it does feel a little like, as 230, mid 30s or young 30s, like whatever. But like, as we've been around longer, you start to realize when shit's about like important times, these things tend to keep happening, right? Like,
yeah,
either COVID or Black Lives Matter or whatever, bro. Like, there's Y2K, like whatever. It just feels like we've seen this story before, and it usually happens every 3.5 to 4 years.
I understand where you're coming from. My only pushback on people with the distraction theories is, I feel like at any given time there's going to be something taking place that you could deem as like more important or more detrimental. Like when I was at the barbershop, they were all talking about this, and they claimed, my barber claimed Putin. There's a video going around of Putin allegedly claiming Jesus was actually black. Like, he opened some tomb or some shit that has evidence that Jesus was black. And now that's the theory going around, is this is a distraction of that. I'm like, first of all, I know for a fact he didn't fact check it. I fact checked it like in 30 seconds. Granted, they'll say that whatever I fact checked with was flawed and a conspiracy. But I feel like the thing I'm trying to get at is there's always going to be some sort of event that you feel like maybe more worthy of getting news attention.
Sure.
And then you'll look for something that isn't quite important, like Ice Spice getting a fucking transplant or some shit, and be like, see, like, there's no way this transplant's real because, Biden's over here funneling money to fucking Ukraine or something.
That's a good point. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's a good point. I don't think, I can't imagine like Biden's pushing a button and saying, all right, feds, go raid this because, my poll numbers are down or some shit. But I don't know, man. Those kind of conspiracies, I don't think are so far-fetched, but I definitely agree with what you're saying for the most part. Yeah. How do you think this plays out? So as of today, April 1st, we're now like in 2-3 weeks already of this being like mainstream news. How do you think now with the info you do have, or that we have, this plays out for Diddy?
I don't know. It's tough to say just because I haven't like read, all the court documents and heard too many opinions on it.
Straight speculation, bro. We don't know anything. But
straight speculation. I mean, I potentially just him like going to court and being charged with whatever he's allegedly been doing, sex trafficking, what have you. I don't know if I necessarily see him doing jail time unless there's like concrete evidence and sex trafficking victims who can like prove that he forced them to do XYZ. But at the end of the day, I think most of the allegations are him just being like a weirdo who forced some rappers to do XYZ. And if all these people don't come out and say, yeah, he like made me fucking suck his dick or some shit, I don't know how concrete this evidence even is.
Fair. So yeah, I'm leaning towards the idea that he's gonna pull the Russell Simmons and just go to Thailand or somewhere that he can't be forced to come back to the States and like go to court. Like, I feel like he just disappears forever, bro. Even though it seems crazy because, again, Russell Simmons was always like a background guy, right? He had a stutter, right? So again, him not trying to be in the limelight makes sense. Whereas like I feel like Diddy loves being in the limelight. So like him disappearing seems crazy for someone like that, like the king of extrovertness. But I feel like that's his best bet to like, for this not to go really south. And like, I think he cares about his name, bro. Whereas if you leave the country, go to Thailand or wherever the country is, and you can't be forced to go to court, then you can't be forced to look wild for a year. You can't have these crazy things come out. So I feel like if I had to choose one, I feel like he just goes to a country that we just never hear from him ever again.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really good prediction. I think, yeah, unlike Russell Simmons, he definitely seems like someone who doesn't want to have to resort to that. Like, obviously, he doesn't have like a home base in any of these places, as far as we know. But it's better being a billionaire over there than even better than being a billionaire over there than here, because the money's going way further, and he can do whatever he wants in those countries, damn near. So that doesn't seem like a bad plan B or plan A, I guess, in this case.
Yeah, it will be interesting, bro, because if he starts going to court and the feds start forcing, or not the feds, whatever, the DA or the DA, whatever, like start forcing to, like, for certain people to come forward, bro, there's gonna be some wild names, bro, in that courtroom with him. Like, it's not just gonna be like, girl number 2 from Ohio. This is gonna be like rappers that we know or artists that we know.
But why do you think, because I know a lot of people are criticizing his supporters for not coming out. My opinion on why a lot of these people might not be coming out, whether it's like Fabulous or whoever, I don't think he's spoken on it, is they don't want to be guilty.
Because you don't want, as in, like, why is no one supporting him?
Yeah, why is no one coming out and saying, hey, I went to, this party and it wasn't as crazy as people are making it seem, or any of that. Not even necessarily saying he didn't do these things, just being like, I have nothing bad to say. Like, from what my experience, it wasn't. Because they make it sound like if you go to any of his parties, like, if you
were invited,
Yeah. And I think that's the problem with being guilty by association, because if it turns out your coworker or best friend or whatever is a serial killer, it's not fair for people to look at you like, damn, you knew all along. You said that you invited this guy to this and that. So I think with Diddy, I feel like people were just afraid of being accused of either partaking or being bi or gay themselves. And on the other hand, maybe some people are also afraid of, just being just associated with him at all.
Yeah, I think it's the association part, bro. Because it feels deeper than just like the Diddy part. I think the Diddy party is like the easy thing to like point your finger at. Whereas I think if you're just associated with him in a general, it's like, oh, what else were you okay like happening around you? So I'm not surprised. And my thing is, like, if it hasn't happened yet, and these 2 weeks where like this has been front page all over people's algorithm, it's not gonna happen, bro. Like, I don't think anyone's gonna start coming forward. I don't think like Jadakiss is coming out in a week saying, all right, guys, like, he's a great dude, trust me. Like, I don't think anyone's gonna. It's almost like, yeah, dude, I was there, but I got no comment, kind of a thing. I think they even asked Fat Joe or maybe Ludacris on the Breakfast Club or something, and I feel like their comments were very like just nonchalant, like, oh, not when I was there, kind of a thing, but nothing, like, not really going the extra mile to like express like what truly goes down or what didn't go down.
Right. And in fact, they would add little things to imply that they, like, oh, I left early. I would always leave early, or like, I would only show up just to say hi and shit like that, to make it seem like they weren't actively involved in the shady stuff.
Correct. So like alluding to like the shady stuff still took place, right?
Or could take place, but like, I don't know.
I wasn't there. Yeah. Not the Miami one, maybe the LA one. I haven't been to that one, kind of a thing. So again, we're alluding and we're thinking that, again, the videotapes or whatever that Diddy gets up to involves pretty, rappers or artists of a certain level that we know doing some wild shit either for him, with him, or in front of him, right? Like doing some crazy shit. So the idea of like a rapper, like a Meek, just again, Meek Mill's been a name that has come out, but someone of that caliber doing shit for Diddy because they want to either get a bag for a while or just feel more secure in their overall career. Is that something that you put any stock in?
I do, but with a grain of salt. I find it really, especially because, I mean, I think it's tough just because the hip hop industry is so hyper masculine. And then we're talking about dudes here who are putting on a persona.
And
we all know the most masculine, but we all know like a lot of it is a front, and playing into a brand and image. And I think that's what makes it really tricky, because they'll never admit it, particularly those guys, you know, not like a Frank Ocean or some shit. It's like a Meek Mill and all these guys would never say anything. But I will say, if I feel like if they were coerced into doing something, I feel like it may have been something they wanted to do all along, or like would have done anyways. I just find it hard to believe that anyone would want this that bad to do it. But then again, I've never been in that situation where, like, you know, millions of dollars are potentially at my reach if I only do one or two things and meet this person at their hotel room at 4
and no one's gonna ever find out.
Yeah, but that seems crazy to me too. Like, in my mind, I'm like, well, shit, if this gets out, it's over. Or like, you know, it's a whole nother demon that I would have to battle with within the industry, which is difficult already. So I think that's what's crazy to me. But then again, you know, I'm not someone who would like sell my soul for a Grammy or some shit. But I'm sure it has to have happened. I just don't know if it's on the scale that people on the internet make it seem. They make it seem like it's this organized thing where, like, all right, if you want 2 Grammys, you gotta suck this person off, and then this person afterwards.
Yeah, it feels like the Cat Williams
top
interview.
The charts. Yeah, but Cat Williams kind of implied that it was super. It's like a very formal, organized thing. I just don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, damn, dude. But it's tough, dude, because you would never want to think that your rapper would do that, right? Like your favorite rapper, or like someone you listen to, right? Like the idea of fucking like, dude, think about fucking French Montana, bro. Like, you know how many fun French verses we have, and they were like, what did he have to do to get those, like, you know, to get that so unforgettable with, like, you know, what he had to do to achieve that, right? But like, I don't know, bro. The only reason why I wanted to bring that topic up is like, we live in this world, not to go into the whole red pill, blue pill shit, but like, we live in this world now where like these OnlyFans women are like at the forefront of everything, right? Like, people are thinking like, what's society gonna be in 5-10 years when like a female who's attractive can go make $1 million doing this, or she can go work a normal job and be lucky to make 6 figures, right? And again, you see that these women are willing to do a lot, bro. So like, my thing is like, if the average American woman is willing to do wild shit for $250K, would the average American rapper be willing to do some wild shit for 20 mil a year for like 5 years, right? Like, I feel like when you put the question that way, I feel like it's not that crazy. It seems wild because, bro, I would hate to feel like I was listening to a guy that was a blatant lie, right?
Yeah.
But then, like you said, we already know they're kind of lying about a lot of shit, right? So like, it's just like, where do we draw the line? But bro, like, I don't know, man. I was giving this a lot of thought over the weekend, and I was like, man, bro, like, some of these women are doing like wild shit, bro, for like nothing, bro. Like, subscribe for $2.99 or something stupid, bro. And like, imagine what a rapper is willing to fucking do to like, yo, I can secure my situation, I can get my family out the terrible thing, generational wealth, blah, 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 blah. Bro, yeah, bro, you can, I'll let you watch me fuck this dude, whatever the fuck it is, right? It's wild to that's even being put out there. But man, bro, I feel like it doesn't seem that crazy, as we've seen other people sell their bodies for shit that is not even close to the money they're getting.
For sure. I would agree with that. I think I would say the distinction with, I think women are more accustomed with using their sexual like energy or sexuality, whatever you want to call it, to get
financial
things out of men.
Yeah.
And I think it's different too, because it's not like their sexual orientation is like a blocker in posting their feet or something on OnlyFans. Like, for them, it's like, you know, they're willing to sacrifice some self-respect and integrity or whatever. But a lot of it also, I think, has to do with just societal shame. It's like, you don't respect a woman for, you know, showcasing her feet for money. Whereas like with rappers willing to do XYZ, where it just completely goes against like something they would ever be comfortable with, I think that's where the sample size of people actually willing to do that, I think, is significantly low.
Sure.
Because I've talked to girls like before at work and like joking around whenever there's a conversation, not even at work, just like in a group setting. A lot of girls, like as soon as we talk about OnlyFans, they're making that much. Like shit, I'll post my feed, whatever. But I've never heard a dude be like, damn, he got 10 million for sucking blah blah. Like I would do that. Like I don't think it's as apples to apples as it may seem.
No, you're right. No, it's definitely not apples to apples, but it may be like apple to like fucking peach, bro. Like close enough. It feels like close enough.
Close enough. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels close enough. But no, you're right. You're right. All right, man. So that was the Diddy stuff. That was the Diddy fallout. Do you think, out of all the crazy shit you've heard about the other rappers, the Meek Mill stuff specifically, do you put any stock in that? Just knowing these artists from what we've seen for the most part, right? Because I feel like with Meek Mill, like, bro, you and I have been saying, bro, this guy's weird, bro. Like, this thing odd here. But like, odd doesn't mean you'll suck a fucking guy's dick, right? So do you put any stock in some of the conspiracies as far as just like the names that we're hearing? Do you put any stock in that?
The Meek Mill, I would say no, mostly just because the evidence I've seen was very baity. Like there's audio of allegedly him and Diddy getting it on. Obviously, if there's no footage, I mean, I'm not trying to verify the footage if there is allegedly footage, but I'm like, this could be audio from anything. And then two, there's the video of him calling him daddy. I'm like, it's not like Meek Mill requested he call him that. Diddy was calling everyone daddy for some reason in interviews and shit. I don't think that means the person he said it to automatically becomes his bitch. Like, that's not how it works. We've seen Young Thug call like his boy's lover and all kinds of shit. I haven't heard anyone talk about that ever since. So I think it's Diddy's own weirdo like lingo for people that just so happens to be used across everybody apparently. And I think Meek Mill, like anyone who's below Diddy in status, isn't gonna call him out and be like, yo, stop it with that sus shit, like motherfucker. They're just gonna be like, all right, that's Diddy, like I'm gonna keep my distance, but he can be himself if he must be. So I don't really put too much stock in it.
That's a great point, bro, because I feel like a lot of people are trying to use now like different like interview clips with him and other rappers, and it's like you can tell that like the other rappers are feeling awkward. But dude, you could feel awkward but not have done anything. You know, you're just like, all right, bro, like do you? Because again, like you said, like I think we've all been ingrained with the idea of like this guy's odd. So like, all right, man, that's just Diddy being Diddy. That doesn't mean that Fabulous fucking hooked up with him at a party because he asked him to or something. But to play a game that's highly dangerous, but again, who cares? If you had to name 3 rappers that are in the Diddy like bubble, and to be like, yep, he probably did some shit. Do you think that who would be in that list, bro?
3 rappers in the Diddy bubble?
Or three artists that you're like, I can, if some evidence came out, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense.
I would have to know who's like had the closest association with him. And I know Mace is definitely one of those guys, but I don't think Mace is part of that.
I feel like he's so
bubble.
Hardcore the other way that explaining how like he left. So, bro, I don't know, man. I'm gonna put, dude, I don't know, maybe Nav. I'm gonna say Nav.
Nav.
I'm trying to think of like people who like, you're like, bro, like why are they famous? Like I feel like that's like the criteria is like, how are you this famous? How are you this popular? Kind of a thing.
So I wouldn't say this is definitely not a rapper, but Usher is one of those people. I don't know if they necessarily did anything to each other, but just based on Usher being like a young R&B sex symbol and stuff, and then Diddy just being a wild boy, like I wouldn't be surprised if he was like, yeah, go bang this chick like right in front of me, and then he's in the corner or something, like a very beta version of a beta model of the freak offs, like before he fine-tuned it for later on. I could see that happening.
I guess
happen.
that's a good one. especially because it was made clear that him and Usher had a relationship like early on, right? So like you're like a 18, 19-year-old Usher, you don't know what the fuck's going on in the industry, you're just trying to make it. That's a good one. Anyone else? Usher, maybe Nav is. I don't know how close Nav is to that. But again, he's close enough, bro. I feel like he's been in enough Diddy videos and stuff that it's like, bro. I'm gonna go French Montana, bro. That might sound crazy because he's from the Bronx and he has like this hardcore persona, but bro, like, there's also a lot of French Montana that doesn't make sense to me. That he's so famous and so like seems to have so much success. So I'm gonna throw French Montana in the mix and say something seems to have happened there, because again, I don't understand why. Again, he's his best friend all of a sudden. Like, I don't know. Seems fishy.
Yeah, potentially. But I also think there allegedly. But I think there could also be. I feel like the blackmail stuff could be very real. So it's not even necessarily Diddy did something to these guys. It's
sure. Yeah, correct.
In a situation, and it's like, you got to be close with me now, unless you want me to like ruin your reputation, type thing.
Which even seems way more evil, though, right? Because that's some like evil shit. It's like, bro, like
so apparently, like Scientology kind of works that way. It's not necessarily that they're doing stuff that they didn't want to do. It's just that we have that information now, and if you want your career to continue as is and not get fucked over, then you got to treat me right, basically.
Wild. All right, who else can we think of that's remotely? Can't say Cassie. Can't say Little Kim. Damn, bro. Who else, bro? Because dude, like, it's also like no one's really that famous within the Diddy crew. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what's tough.
That's what's tough, bro.
Like Bad Boy, I feel like he's notorious for not, no pun intended, notorious for not
taking care of his artists.
Not taking care of his artists, having a blow up. So it's like, here we have this theory that, you know, you can have the world, and as long as you sell your soul to him, it's like, if you're gonna do all that extra shit, you would sell your soul to, like, I don't know, fucking Kanye or Jay-Z or something.
Yeah. That's a great point, bro. Yeah, I don't think anyone's ever talking about that, because you would think, again, but maybe it's behind the scenes stuff. But yeah, as far as like getting to because dude, I can't think of a Bad Boy artist in the last like 10 years that has popped, bro. Like French Montana, and like even that is like, bro, whatever. Like no one's like running to listen to a new French Montana, you know, Mac and Cheese fucking album 6 or something. So yeah, interesting though. Yeah, dude, wild times, bro. I really think like all of our childhood memories, bro, our heroes are just being like destroyed, bro. Like
that's what's tough, and I think that's why it's people want to pigeonhole or paint the picture that this is happening because they're trying to take down like our black heroes or what have you. And I understand, because we only have so many, especially at this caliber of like businessmen and you know, recording artists and all that stuff. Like it's a tough reality when you look around, you're like, all right, if he gets taken down, then we got like 2 left that are like respectable, and then after that it's nobody. And I think that's just a tough pill to swallow for a lot of people.
Dude, I told you my first single that I ever purchased was P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Mace, Can't Nobody Hold Me Down. Like, bro, like Diddy was the man, bro. And he still, I mean, again, I'm not saying he still is the man. If these alleged things are true, dude, terrible, right? But I don't know, man. I know no one's coming out, but I'm hoping that all this is like fake, to be perfectly honest, bro. Like I would hate to think that, like, again, bro, I remember in like college, like, bro, I only drank Ciroc because that was like Diddy's drink, you know? Like,
yeah.
I don't know, man. It was just, I feel like men of a certain age or people of a certain age, I think a lot of us are like rooting, like maybe not saying it out loud, but a lot of us are rooting for like, man, I really hope this isn't true, bro, because it's tough because we still have those memories, bro, of like, oh man, like, yo, Diddy, like fucking take that, and the dancing, and bro, the Bad Boy tour that he did, I think like 10 years ago, and like people like rushing to go see that, you know, like the Bad Boy movies. Like, I don't know, bro. Like I really I'm really holding out hope that like all this shit is just a complete misunderstanding.
Same. And I also think people need to again distinguish his alleged sexuality from doing non-consensual acts with rappers or whoever in exchange for Grammys and deals and stuff like that. Because if it just turns out he was on some freaky shit and everyone involved wanted to do it, then
that's
honestly,
not illegal,
like none of this,
bro.
right? Yeah, like we shouldn't give a fuck at that point. Maybe it's a little annoying that he's painting this picture that he's not doing that stuff. I could see that, but if that's all he's doing is consensual stuff that is against what is typically championed in hip hop, then who gives a fuck?
Who gives a fuck? Yeah, which is what I think most people did for the most part for these last like 20 years, right? I think it's like now when like the news on it, we're like, this feels almost like the R. Kelly stuff, bro. It's like, bro, that rumor has been out there forever. But now that TLC did a fucking documentary, we're all like, terrible. It's like, bro, this. Like
exactly.
So yeah, man, hoping that justice is served, whatever that is. But I think the boy in me, the guy who grew up listening to Diddy and that version, I'm really hoping none of this shit's like actually happening. But again, time will tell. All right, so another news, pretty big news, obviously. Future and Metro, We Don't Trust You, #1 album in the country. Like That featuring Kendrick, #1 song in the country. So your thoughts on those accolades? I believe it's the biggest debut of any album in 2024, as well as one of the quickest songs to go gold in a very long time.
I think it's amazing. I think it's good for hip hop, and we need this competitive spirit because, like many others would believe, everyone nowadays is kind of, playing it safe, sticking to the formula that already works, and it's not exciting, at least in the long run. And I think when this sort of thing happens, I think it can encourage people to try a bit harder, and more directly to Drake and J. Cole. When you're at the top, I would imagine it's easy to get complacent if you don't really have anyone coming at the throne like that. So I think it's a great thing. I really would like Drake to respond. So I'm hoping like when this song is taken seriously, it just kind of forces him to continue to think about it. Cause I don't want that like egotistical, ain't nobody listen to it. You only sold this much. Song never made it on the charts. Like, why would I respond? I don't want any of those excuses for any of J. Cole or Drake or anyone else. So,
and right now it's lining up that again, if it's like #1 for a second week, right? It's like, bro, come on, like this, people are listening to the song, right? So, that's a good point. That's a good point. I didn't even think about it that way. How much credit do you think goes towards Drake though for driving those numbers up? Like 5%, no percent? Is it just good quality music that's going to be listened to? Like, do you think the fact that it was a Drake diss helped like boost those numbers up overall?
It's tough to say because it's like you have one big rapper dissing the other biggest rapper in some people's eyes. So I feel like it would be dishonest to try to say Drake is the only reason, because if Kendrick just like had a light jab that wasn't respectable, if anyone else did this to Drake, I don't think we're getting this much coverage on it. I think it's because of who it is. The song itself as a standalone is really dope. Apparently the NBA is playing it a lot. I know LeBron was listening to it, unless it was AI or some shit. I didn't know.
No, it was LeBron. It was
okay.
LeBron. It was LeBron.
Okay. So yeah, he's playing it. So I think the song itself is great. It's who dissed Drake. I if you really want to like split it out, maybe 30% because it's Drake, 30% because Kendrick just had a bomb verse, and then the other 30% the beat, and
the beat
chorus
stupid.
is like
yeah,
it's just amazing. So I feel like at most you have to divvy it up evenly.
That's fair. Yeah. Because there's no way that it's like that it had no impact, right? Now, is it the only reason that's also being a little bit blasphemous? Because like, bro, it's a very good song, right? Like, I don't think you.
Yeah.
Because that, again, the way these numbers currently work, I think, right? We don't really know, but like the replay of it, right? Like you're not replaying that song over and over again if it's like average, right? Like you're replaying it because like, bro, that beat's ridiculous. Kendrick goes crazy. And then you're also trying to pick up on different nuances if like Future's also dissing him, but you're not really sure. So you can kind of hear it over and over again. I think it was just a perfect coming together of so many different things that, again, which is what you need for your album to go number one, right? Like, I don't think any of these albums truly go number one or a song is a banger without something like, again, marketing, controversy, appeal of the artist. Like, I feel like all that stuff needs to come together. Because if not, then you're just like another artist, right? Like you'll have your moment, the song will chart, number 15. It did fine. But to be number one, yeah, you do. You need all these things that come together for you, right? I think to your point last week, like to go viral, a lot needs to happen for you. Like this is a very viral moment for that whole camp and Kendrick.
Right. And I think Drake, to be fair, also with his own music, kind of uses marketing obviously to propel a lot of his music. And so for people who would say, hey, this song only went this far because of Drake. I mean, Drake did, the hotline bling and all those memes. I don't think anyone was out there saying, oh, he only made it this far because, the meme took off, or he only made his album sales because of Bobby Altoff, going viral. Like at the end of the day, every successful artist is going to have to do some shit like this to go viral and get their music out there.
Yeah, again, it was an easy target if that beef was already lingering for a while. I think Drake even agreed that, do you remember that song, like the Shiggy dance? Like nice, was it nice?
Right.
Yeah, I think he even
In My Feelings.
In My Feelings, yeah. He's like, bro, the only reason that song went number one is because it became like a challenge on TikTok and Instagram. Right. Like that song had no business being number one, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's very interesting. But yeah, shout out to Future, Metro, and again, these guys are the most relevant they have ever been, and Kendrick. So it's cool to have that. So to your point earlier, I think it's lining up now that people are enjoying the album, but very much so enjoy the diss verse itself. Do you think we're gonna get a response from Drake specifically?
On a track, I would say yes. I know he has a lot to lose. He could obviously not respond and 3 months from now come out with a hit and we kind of all forget. It'll still be a little bit of a stain, but I feel like he has more to lose by responding and having it come across as whack or lame as opposed to just ignoring it, because he's already such a legendary superstar. But I feel like just him being competitive and him being battle tested in the past, I feel like he'll respond. I think he's just waiting for his tour and shit to be over.
Yeah, right. I think the tour plays a key into it, right? Because I was thinking, like I said last week on the pod, like I was hoping because the album dropped on Friday. I went to Saturday's show. I'm like, bro, like obviously I'm holding out hope, but the likeliness of this guy coming with a random freestyle, it's like, bro, like come on, like these guys had time to work. Again, that's a very well crafted verse, let alone track. You can't just come sloppy, right? Like, I mean, whoa, that's a crazy no Diddy phrase. But you can't just be sloppy with your approach to this. So, yeah, but you feel very confident he is going to reply, though, right?
I think he'll reply, yeah, musically. I think what's tough for me is I just don't know if it's gonna be a verse or if it's gonna be a standalone me against the world type diss track. Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm getting nervous about is that I do think he's going to respond. I'm leaning towards he's going to release a full song. However, I'm getting nervous that it seems like now he's getting very comfortable with just like the caption war of like posting like very direct captions at what's going on. And like, I'm afraid it's just going to stay at that and then just go away. Right? So I'm actually excited that the song is number one. So like, I hope that like, this stays in the conversation where people are like, bro, like we get it, you're the Instagram king, but bro, we need we need something, bro. Like, drop something. Because my fear is that he's getting very direct with these captions now. And it's like, is that going to be like his approach? Like, kind of like with the whole, like, when he got on the show with LeBron James, like at the barbershop, and he was just telling them how like he didn't appreciate how Pusha T crossed the line.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, I don't want to talk through this with you. I want you to come, like, drop the fucking song.
Right. And with the Pusha T, it kind of worked out because some people sided with him and said he had a valid reason, like, oh, this is not fair. You know, he got personal. Why would Drake respond to that kind of thing? The song was mid. Because, like, in reality, no one's really listening to Story of Adidon because it's not really like a song you want to fucking bump in any context, even though I think it was a very strong diss. But with Drake, I'm afraid that 2 years from now, he's going to have a song that alludes to this situation. It's like 3 bars. He's like, you know, that moment was cute. I was on tour, like, convenient of you to choose that time type shit. And then, like, get super introspective and expect people to be satisfied with that. Like, I really want him to go at Kendrick, but maybe he's waiting for J. Cole to go first. I don't know, but he needs to. Like, he's rich enough, just do it. If you're gonna talk all this shit about being the best, like, you just have to do it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think there were some things on some blogs, they were trying to push the narrative that maybe him and Travis aren't beefing at all, and they're fine kind of a thing. So yeah, and if anything, like a song just to clear up what's happening, bro. like right. Who are you cool with? Because I think that's also a little bit like not as obvious right now, right? Because again, I know the marketing from Metro's team is choose sides, you know, but then it's like, are they? You know what I mean? Dude, how many times have like rappers been with other rappers and it's like, all right, bro, but I'm still cool with you. Like, yeah, you can. The thing about fucking Travis alone, like, dude, obsessed with Kanye, right? But still fucks with Drake. Like, that happens all the time now. So
yeah,
it's just more when you're okay with that person dissing your boy on that track, where it's like, all right, bro, that's a line that we shouldn't cross.
For sure. But at the end of the day, too, like, the more I hear the verse, the more I'm like, it's not even that serious of a verse to make someone be like, damn, you know, he crossed the line. Like, anyone who co-signs that shit. Yeah, I'm just like, I don't know what's going on with the Future and Metro, but I feel like what Kendrick did is perfectly in the realm of like acceptable, friendly competition. Like,
yes. Yeah, I agree with you. However, my pushback for that, though, is I think that if it was just the Kendrick verse alone, right, remove the Future Metro Boomin aspect of it, I think you then would get what you suggested earlier, a response 2 years from now on some clever shit. I think what's going to push Drake to actually respond is the aspect of his boys turning their backs on him. I think that's what I don't think the Kendrick actually, I think it deserves a response, but I don't think it's going to get a response alone. I think it's they're like, oh, bro, what do you think's happening right now? I think that's the real ego, you know, like whatever, ego and him talking. I don't think the Kendrick verse is going to actually trigger him to respond.
That shit would annoy me though, because when he does respond, I don't want it to be 90% towards Future and Metro, who aren't going to respond with bars or anything meaningful. Like, I feel like that's going to be the safe route for him, is not really focus on Kendrick so much, maybe a couple bars, but like directed towards them betraying him. And that way he doesn't have to
take an L.
Potentially, take an L, trigger Kendrick to release a whole song just demolishing him. Like, that's what I don't want to happen, because that's not the fun outcome that we all want.
No, for sure. But I think that's going to be the outcome we get, bro. And it also, you know, protects his record, quote unquote, right? Like, you can't really count that as an L because he was taking on 7 people, and Kendrick had an easy target because you're looking up at the GOAT. Dude, so what about this thought? I had this thought yesterday when I was listening to the We Don't Trust You Again. Dude, what if this was all just, and this is part of audio theories, conspiracy theories, what if this is all just a ploy by him, Drake? We're like in cahoots. Well, maybe not Kendrick, but with like Future, Metro, Rick Ross, Travis, and like almost like a way for him just to fucking disappear. And the sense of like, yo, you guys want it so bad, you want me out of here, you want to unfollow me, take it. I'm gonna do my little tour, and after this tour, I'm gonna just fucking disappear for like 2 or 3 years. Because I feel like the idea of like Drake going away, and I feel like he's kind of been alluding to that for a while in these last 2 or 3 projects. Mm-hmm. Like this might be the perfect path for him to be like, all right, cool, y'all don't need me in the game anymore. Let's see what you guys do, and then he comes back, you know, crazier than ever, like in 2 or 3 years. Like, what are your thoughts on that idea?
So essentially, besides Drake, you're saying, besides Kendrick, Drake working with all his homeboys to purposely unfollow him and kind of like pretend like they're dissing him or like against him. But are you implying that maybe he doesn't want to go away on his own because that's not a marketable exit? Or
yeah, like I don't know, maybe like he doesn't. I don't know. Like again, it's not the best conspiracy theory. It's just like a thought. But like, yeah, maybe he just want to go away on his own. Like, oh, bro, why leave now? You're on top, kind of a thing. Like, there's no reason to leave. So maybe the reason is like the new kids, the Gen Z's favorite rappers are now, you know, ready for that next step. And he's like, cool, do your thing, right? Like, I don't know. It was just a thought. Like, because again, it also feels wild still to me. Like, I'm trying to rationalize like these specific artists turning their back to him. Like that feels weird, as opposed to like super orchestrated. And I feel like the only one who could truly do that would be him. Like he's a part of the scandal in itself.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he were to be colluding with those guys, besides Kendrick, of course, to make him look like the bad guy, in a sense, and kind of gain the sympathy of maybe some of his supporters or the industry in a way. But I feel like that would just be so.
We don't want our goats doing that, right? Like,
right. Yeah. It just seems corny, like trying to fabricate it to that level. Because then at that point, we're like living in a fucking movie. It just seems like too far.
But
I still. Go
ahead, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, I find it extremely odd that like Rick Ross and all these guys are suddenly just pretending like over an
IG thought. There's no way, bro. Like there's
not like that many people.
Yeah, like this feels way too orchestrated, bro. Like I'm telling you, I feel like they're in a group chat and it's like, all right, bro, this is what we're gonna do in Q2. You know, like we're gonna fucking like, this is the game plan to get sales up. I don't want the people we consider the GOATs to be doing shit like that, right? Like again, the Jay-Z and Nas beef, that shit was real. Tupac and Biggie, obviously too real, right? You don't want it to get to that level, but like you want this to be genuine. Like, bro, I don't fuck with you, and I'm gonna keep it on, you know, on these records, but it's gonna be in a way that's still, you know, competitive. But yeah, just the those beefs coming out of nowhere just seems like so like, bro, what's happening? Like.
Unless it's like some crazy diabolical shit where he's like convinced them to side with Kendrick so they can like be his little spies and get some dirt on him or something. And then that way he can come back with a freestyle and just air it all out. But again, it's in my mind, I'm like, it's not that serious. Like if you're the better rapper, just fucking rap and
just rap. You don't have to... Yeah. It's definitely not that serious. But I think to the earlier point, I really think that whatever diss track we get, I'm telling you, the Kendrick part of it's going to be the most minimal part of that entire song. Like I don't really think I think he's okay with that because that's been happening for years now, right? I think it's the other parts of it. So yeah, as a hip hop purist like yourself, I think you're going to be disappointed with whatever diss track we get because it's not going to be what we truly want, right? Like if it was just a Kendrick 16 bar freestyle, bro, this is why Drake sucks, I think we would get a response, but it'd be, you know, a year from now.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
This shit is all so weird to me.
Yeah, dude, it is a matrix, and we're gonna figure it out soon enough. But all right, bro. Anything else you wanted to talk about before we get out of here?
No.
Did we cover everything right? Yeah. Perfectly done. All right, but before we get out of here, episode 173, Heat of the Week. So what are you listening to before we get to, what are you listening to on these runs, bro? Like, is there a certain playlist you have, or is it like just on shuffle? Like, what are you listening to?
Pretty much just been on shuffle. So I did create a new playlist. I'm slowly building it out. So I can't say I've been using it yet, but I just let it play as I was running. And it kind of worked out really well. It chose all the right songs. It chose a mix. Like it played a Limp Bizkit song of all things.
Oh, wow.
It was fire for the moment. So
which Limp Bizkit song?
My Way.
Bro, I know if I hear that song, I'd be like, oh, that
My Way. He's like, my way or the highway, or some shit.
Dude,
I don't know if it was ever popular.
Though I know Rollin' was obviously the most popular one, but I remember being an emo like teenager. Like I know they had other bangers too, so like I gotta take a deep dive. But I was just wondering what I listen to, because like sometimes like if it's like a casual run for me, I can just throw a podcast on right for recovery. But if it's like a long distance run, I try to find at least a couple playlists that are like 2 hours long that I can like just get lost in it.
Yeah. For me, I just let it shuffle, and it was a nice mix of like random old songs that I would listen to, hype new stuff, some of it chill, some of it more like trappy. I think that's what I'm gonna try to go for my main playlist. I don't want every song to be some like hardcore like Memphis trap shit, because I don't need that for every single moment of the race. But in terms of what I've been listening to recently that I've been bumping, there's actually a J. Cole song. It's called older song from the Born Sinner album, Land of the Snakes.
Land of the Snakes. I never heard of that one, bro. Probably when I hear it, I'm like, oh, that song. Because
you know Art of Storytelling by Outkast?
Yeah.
It's basically that sample.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. And this is off which album?
Born Sinner.
Nice. All right, bro. I'm gonna add that shit right the fuck now. Nice. And what stood out to, like, what was he talking, like just taking shots at just like the way people act and stuff, or?
Honestly, like I think the overarching theme of the song is him just like treating women wrong and like realizing it later on in life. And then also like being in the club and being aware of the fact that, you know, the people around him might not necessarily be there for him. But as I was thinking about the lyrics, because I know like people are comparing J. Cole to Kendrick and Drake. I think the reason why J. Cole may not get the same respect as Kendrick, and Danny Brown actually had a good point on this. He said Kendrick looks like an artist, like he's just born with it and didn't have to practice at all. Like it just comes to him effortlessly. Whereas J. Cole seems like someone who put in his 10,000 hours and like,
in the studio.
He's great.
But
he had to like work for it. And even though he's talented, it's very clear that he's like technically mastered it to a point where people respect him. And I get that as I listen to his music a lot of times. Sometimes, like, even though his bars are crazy, like sometimes I'll listen to a song and I'm like, well, it's not that deep compared to maybe some of the stuff Kendrick says, or some of the stuff Drake says. So I don't know. I thought that was interesting, and I think a lot of people find like there's less range with J. Cole, like in his music, versus like Kendrick or Jake.
100%, dude. I think there's way more replay value with Kendrick than there is Cole, and that's coming as from an East Coast, listener. Again, I know the love for obviously Kendrick on the West Coast is crazy, but I mean, I've definitely replayed way more Kendrick songs in my life than I've ever replayed J. Cole songs, right? I think like that was like probably like my biggest like critique of Cole is like, bro, like at some point it's like, when am I listening to this? You know what I mean? Like, is it just like a one and done? And again, I know the critique of Kendrick's latest album was that, but for the most part, you have so many replayable songs for Kendrick throughout his career that like, all right, if you wanted to go left on one project, good for you. I feel like there's like a soccer or like NBA reference in there somewhere, right? Because like Kendrick does seem effortless, which is what I think like a lot of people say about like Steph Curry. It's just like a beautiful way to go about the game. Whereas like, yeah, like J. Cole is more work. It's like kind of respect those players who like weren't really that good initially, but keep trying. And then they finally reach like the peak. And it's like, oh, dude, that's what hard work gets you, kind of a thing, right? But a lot of people in rap don't do that, right? Like, you know, they're not like in the studio trying to like try new flows and doing homework per se. It's like, it's just the skills that they've always had. And like, they never really get better, bro. Like, that's what you think about. Like, albums never like from your favorite artists never truly get better because it's like, they're not trying to, right? It's just like, all right, what beats do we have this year? Let's see what we can come up with.
For sure. I know there's definitely actor analogies as well. Like, maybe this pertains to Denzel, but there's certain actors where you're like, they're kind of the same in every movie. And they're not bad. It's just they're not getting that much of a different experience. Whereas like certain actors, I don't know, maybe a Johnny Depp or Leonardo DiCaprio or something, they could play like a doctor who's insane and then play a gangster, and like all of it's convincing.
100%.
I think that Kendrick and Drake do that a lot better than J. Cole does.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like Drake is like he doesn't even count though, bro, because it's not fair. Like, he's the actor who can also do Broadway, who can also dance. You know what I mean? Like, not that he actually can dance, but you know what I mean? Like that, like the actor now is like, he does everything, right? And then he also has this huge marketing machine behind it. So like, what part does that play into as far as giving percentage and credit to? So like, I feel like Drake is like the unfair comparison because we've never seen something like Drake, right? That's like the crazy part. We can make fun of him and whatever, light skin and all this bullshit, whatever. But like, he's also like, bro, like, we've seen other hot rappers, right? We've seen other rappers that we've heard as a go. We've never seen an artist like this, period. So yeah, very interesting, bro. Yeah, so I'll listen to Land of the Snakes, add it to the playlist. What am I going to go with, man? There was a couple of songs that stood out to me, but I'll go with the song I sent you, bro. Again, as I'm trying to look for like new stuff for the wedding, the song is called Sand and Lead. It's from this house group called Naked, and the lyrics are from this person named Brolin, Brolin. Bro, just like a really fun song, chilled vibe. I think the lyrics actually get pretty deep, but the beat's so fun that it doesn't get too overwhelming. But yeah, if you want like a fun, chilled song, vibey to, quick car ride to the beach, this is probably what I would play. So Sand and Lead by Naked. And Naked seems like similar to Disclosure, like that vibe. Like, I think it's like two DJs who just have like a bunch of songs together.
Yeah, I love Disclosure.
Yeah, so this, if you like Disclosure, it'd be really hard not to like this.
Word. There
it is. Cool, bro. So, my dog, let the people know what we got going on, and let's get out of here.
Yes, sir. Catch us at audio-theory.com. New episode every week on all platforms. We also got the Spotify and Apple Music playlists up there as well. So be sure to catch the Heat of the Week selections. And if you're on YouTube, peep down below. We got merch, stickers, what have you available. So be sure to copy something. Otherwise, like, subscribe, donate, share, comment, do what you can to support the channel.
Do what you can. Episode 173, we're done. Peace, bro. Love you.
Is there peace? Love you too.